Richard, it's nice to be able to sit over here and watch you play the Bulls. It's new. Usually we have our backs to you. Appreciate that. The sound helps presence, and a lot of what I'd like to share is your presence individually and your maybe a greater self presence that we can formulate, that we do formulate. There's talk that there is all of this is one thing. Everything that is seen and experienced and thought about is still within that one thing. All things are within one thing. And so that soup we're always in. Call it a soup, call it an energy, whatever it is. However, I have practiced the presence of being separate from that allness. I think this is kind of a standard thing a lot of us have learned to do. And the way that I've done it is, in the Buddhist tradition, they have a devices they call fetters. There are 10 fetters. The first fetter is thinking you're individual, having an experience, a personal experience of being individual from all the other stuff or things. And the way that I've done that, and the way I'm told that a lot of people do that, is by thinking a reality and then believing the thought reality is the real thing that's going on. And that's pretty cool. That takes a lot of energy. That's a real trick. We learn it early as children. And is everybody familiar with MRIs, the magnetic resonance imagery? Well, they have a new variety of MRI out called an fMRI. And the fMRI, it deals with blood flow and yada yada in the body. But what they've been able to do with that is they've been able to map in real time what's going on when we think. But what they found out is there's all kinds of stuff that goes on before we think. Although Richard's got a famous line, he goes, "What were you before the thought?" And there's quite a bit to that, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on before we think. And what it is what they've noticed is the body comes alive with information when experience is happening first. Just the body, this thing. And then the second thing that happens noticeably is that there's a reaction. The reaction is what we have given the name behavior to. So first the body gets the information, and then behavior happens, and then way down the road, thinking begins. Logic, explanations, reasons, all of that stuff. So in the martial arts world, we've seen masters, Tai Chi. The one that I saw was a Aikido master. And the explanation is they have trained themselves to fall in the moment of their body, which is now, very close to now, the moment of now, that they can sense somebody thinking and reacting to get their body to move against them. So they're like 2 or 3 steps ahead of the person that is challenging them. So it's like watching a storm cloud come up, build itself into thunder. It's rolling across the landscape, and then you know what's going to happen. Kaboom! The strike of lightning, then thunder, the sound afterwards. So the masters are in the moment watching this other person trying to strike them or do something against them. And all they do in Aikido is to keep their center, keep their balance, and merely redirect the energy off in some other direction. So that's a real physical world thing that goes on. And so my attempt is to relate it to what's happening to us in this human body. First, the body gets it. Second, there's a reaction. I'm not labeling the reaction. Third is we have the thinking about it. So most of us have been given the model of being here by thinking about it. And you see how out of the now that can be, that we're kind of missing the boat. So here's a trick with meditation. When we get into meditative states, we can get very deep and we can actually get quiet. And when things get quiet, then hell breaks loose. For those in the room who've sat for hours and hours meditating, they realize that the mind is going, no, we're not going to just sit here. We're going to have activity. We're going to have stuff go on. We have to have explanations. And so the mind goes, no, I don't think you're going to do this. So we got to wrestle with that thinking aspect of reality. And because what's going to happen is if we get quiet enough, then we're going to hear and see what's underlying the mind, what's underlying our reactions, what's underlying our emotions, and maybe what's underlying the body in the moment. So when the mind starts getting exposed to the idea of it's going to be exposed and it's not the real reality, it goes, no, you're not going to do this, because what's the worst thing that can happen? That's what the mind will throw up. It'll go, you can't sit here. You're in pain. You have to deal with stuff tomorrow. Yesterday, that's not here. That's thinking. The mind gives us a thought. We chase the thought. We swing from one thought to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. That's not in the building. Elvis is not in the building while we're swinging from thought to thought. So that's the start of it. Some of the people who've been deeply meditative understand the aspects of this. Some of the people who can be in the now through their artwork or their artifice or their running or the way that they deal with things. Here's the super curiosity thing. Each one of us has probably at least one unique ability that doesn't follow the rules of the body gets it first, then the reactions, then the mind. In other words, there are aspects of each one of us that can bypass and stay in the moment, which is like pretty cool, because how big is the moment? Infinite. It may be that even the idea of time is in this moment. Another idea. So, to start, that was a good start. I would ask everyone in here to arrive and to feel their way into this group by using your body. Not your reactions, not the thinking, not the ideas, not the constructs, but to literally feel. And one of the ways to feel in the moment is to go, are my feet on the floor? Can I feel them? Is my butt in the chair? Can I feel them? Can I hear sounds? Can I, ooh, and then things like, I feel the group. or I feel the earth. Or if you're a water sign, I feel like this room has got water in it, or something like that, or energy, or if you're a field person. All the senses, 5 senses, feeling, smelling, touching, tasting, seeing, and then one other one, the 6th sense, which is, we'll call awareness. But what we've done with our thinking and our awareness is we've kind of turned it inside out. We think the reality is this stuff out here. And by using that idea, we believe that things happen to us rather than things happen for us. We believe that that stone is a stumbling block rather than believing that stone is a stepping stone. And this is what happens when we go inside out. People feel into that a little bit, this inside out concept. Some people know it. They already embody it, if you will. They have senses about it. And that's why what we are asking is that each one of us in here can, in this group, add our special senses into the pool that's here. So if we could get past the barriers of I'm here, you're over there, maybe there's a we thing in here energetically that we can share, that we can merge some of our super abilities into, so we can be more of a, rather than 2, we could be more of a 1. So one thing I'd like to do is take the idea of 1, call it a unit, make some tea out of it. Put a big pot of the tea over there in the other room and pick up an artist's brush that's about the size of the length of this room. Dip our artist's brush into this tea and then paint the room with oneness.
Come on, join the circle. Come on, come on, come on.
One of the things that Don suggested that we paint this place with is from a Beatles song, all you need is love. Thank you. So if we could, you can't separate love from us, but just to pretend, we'll say it's over there in the tea, the unit tea, pick it up with a brush, paint this place with unity. Yes, unity, and allow yourself to absorb your special attributes into this love. Let love reflect itself back to you. And of course, you're going to have to love yourself, because if you're the shining thing, if you're the thing that all of this is coming from, then that's a good suggestion. Use something nice like that rather than defeat or something like that. The sense of feeling it in the moment is what we're after here. Do people have a sense that parts of their body are starting to feel more into the room? Can you feel the spots in the body that are places in the body? Everybody's unique. It's got these different energies and ideas about energy. So that's where to go. One of Rumi's poems starts with, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. It's pretty simple. When you do things from your soul. So we got unity, we got love, we got soul. Maybe we all have one of those. Maybe we all are one. I don't know. Something like that. So we're diving into presence. We're kind of creating, we're ideating this place in a particular presence. Let's add one more layer of presence in here. One more layer of feeling with your body in the moment. Adi. Adi Om. Went off the scale there, Bobby. Low note. Feel your feet, feel your butt, feel the coolness of the room. Feel the things that don't have names, that we haven't named yet. Feel the things without thought. Now the meditator can drop into these places where the thought becomes so still, the place becomes so quiet that it's almost as if nothing starts showing up. This is where the mind goes apeshit, when nothing shows up. However, there's a lot of information past the observer. There's a lot of information that's already here. The unity information, the oneness information, the illusionary information, what's behind all of that. And this is what comes up. Who am I? Who are you? Who am I? And the scariest part about who I am when I go and search is I cannot find an I that I am past what I think. Everything is caught in a thought. I am this, I am that. However, if I'm just consciousness, if I'm just not thought, but if I'm just presence, if I'm not a single thing, a single name, who am I? Then the field possibility opens up into a really bigger space than the thought person that I think I am. We can jump. This is the edge of the cliff. And experientially, we can gently float off the cliff or jump off the cliff or whatever you want to do. But there's a lot of stuff going on past the way we perceive. But the body still gets it first. You can use this body as an infinite tuning fork that will resonate with stuff that is completely beyond all knowledge. It's so direct and so immediate. It's irrefutable. When we drop into that place of being our self, our big capital S self, our individual self, our self that is authentic and true, when we drop into there, there'll be no more doubt about what's happening. That, my friends, is the first fetter. That's the place we have to have an experience of, not an idea about. We have to have an experience that there's stuff beyond our ideas. That's a big, big opening. What keeps us from that? I have beliefs. My beliefs are formulated through pain, misery, oh my God, suffering, wrongness is done to me. I've developed a lifetime of beliefs about what reality is.
Did you have any positive experiences there?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Phil. I was thinking the same thing. All
Yes.
negative.
This is one. This is one here. That's a good point, Phil. Thank you. And when I focused on what's not right, I get more of it. Moron, this is what I call moron. Let me focus on what Phil brought up. What's wrong? Let me focus on that. And I get moron, what's wrong? And I just repeat it and drop back into it. And so the tripping block, as a moron, I can think about what's being done to me. That's the moron part of it. I can think, what else is being done to me? Oh, woe is me. Or I can go the other way. What's right about this stone I tripped on? Yeah, that's the other side of it. However, the stone is just a stone.
Perhaps a grounding experience.
Yeah, good. If I don't react to it, if I keep out of my head about it, it's a good grounding. So beliefs are beautiful bandages to rip off to see that there's light underneath of them. And so as we sit in meditation, and as Phil aptly pointed out, focus on the pain of the moment, when we can literally go into that wrongness and experience it at an experiential level, at the body level, not the reactive level, not the thinking level, when we can drop in, we can start doing our shadow work. The first level of shadow work is an emotional level. That's the body reactive level. It's the emotional level. When we drop in, we're always trying to do our shadow work with thinking, but that's like putting more stuff on top of the stuff that's keeping the stuff there. So when we can drop in and start dealing with our emotional level of what's coming up and allow the emotions to flow through us at an energetic level, flow through our body in the moment while we're here, then they can release through the captivity of what we've done to them for all this time. That's emotional shadow work. Then when we get deeper, we can start releasing the Jungian level stuff, the stuff that is deep, deep body-held traumatic shadow work. That's gold, 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 after we've done some of the lighter work. The shadow work example would be, you piss me off, I'm pissed off, that's the thinking part of it. My feeling is anger, and I'm directing it outward. And that's, you see how that's all goofy stuff. It's inside out. When I can go, oh, I feel pissed off, and then go, oh, that's something I'm doing. I'm enjoying myself. When I can drop into that, what's the mechanism? That's the thinking. When I can drop into actually feeling pissed off and allow it to flow past all of the thoughts, then pretty good shadow work there. The really deep shadow work is when I think I am literally dying in the next moment, when I'm having an extreme, visceral, physical, shaking, fearful reaction. This is the place to go in deep meditation. When that happens, you go, we're in a gold mine here. I just think I'm going to die, but. So when you talk with people who have had near-death experiences, you'll find out there's a heck of a bunch of other stuff going on that can happen rather than literally dying. What dies there is a belief or a piece of the self. Okay, now back to a little bit of Rumi. When death comes, like dawn, and you wake up and realize that what you thought was a problem is now a joke on yourself. The death there is physical death. People go through that in physical death. But we can also go through it when we go into levels of the egoic death. We can also experience the same stuff. That's cool stuff. But the deep meditator, this is one way in, there's thousands of ways in. When the deep meditator hits that wall of the mind threatening the body with this terror, existential terror, so deep, so fearful that you cannot remain in it. But if you stay the course and go, no, I want to know what's past this, then what is exposed is one of those very deep first level body experiences, usually associated with trauma, traumatic ones, and it may be coming from who knows what. We don't need a reason here, folks. We need an experience in the moment. We need to feel in the moment what's going on and let go of the reasoning and actually wear in your body what's going on. Now, we're all willing to do this when we love. That's fun to wear. Or when we're having excitement, that's fun to wear. But when it comes down to getting our butt kicked in the moment, I use all kinds of means on getting out of there. I distract myself. My favorite. Oh, there's a bird. Okay.
At least you didn't go squirrel.
Squirrel. Yeah, that movie. Squirrel. Yeah, that nails it. So back to the bodies again, back in the body. Bring your presence in the body. Feel your body. Allow this gorgeous tuning fork you have. We all have. This is why the idea that I'm superior to you or inferior to you is complete bullshit. We've all got the same tuning fork, and we all have special, absolutely individual things we can do with our tuning fork that we need not explain to other people because they haven't had the visceral feeling in they haven't had the experience yet of it. When they have the experience of it, they'll know. And there's no words for the experience at that level. There's no thinking that can explain it. So one of the routes in is to go near-death experience people, study that. There's a Buddhist method called the single pointedness. When you sit down and go, I've had enough of this. I've had enough of whatever it is, then I'm going to sit and find out what's going on beyond what I think. And you could do that. You could drop in there in a half a second. But you have to be willing at the level of dying for it. Then you can do it. If you're not, you ain't going to get there. You'll think you're dying and you'll go, depart, leave the building, go freak out, go do whatever, go think about next Tuesday and stuff like that. I'm getting some smiles from people here. Here comes the brutality of experience. nothing comes into your experience from outside. We bring ourselves into the soup with perfection. There's something about us that we're not seeing that is so perfect. We bring ourselves into the perfect experience to have realization. And we can only have realization when we stay here and have the experience of the realization. This was my last realization that I had, that I rabbited out of, that I jumped out of. I'm in a post office. I'm standing in line. There's a kid over there about 6 years old that's got one of the don't hurt yourself helmets on, probably in the autistic spectrum. He's walking around, his dad has let him loose. He's banging into stuff, he's walking under tables, he's doing this and that. I just go into this, okay, we're in line here, I got 15 people ahead of me, and I'm just gonna drop in and experience the moment. And I was kind of like drifting off into buttoness space, whatever it is, Sputnik, that's it. And the next thing I know, this kid has a hold of my hand and he has pulled me out of myself. He's pulled me out of Bud, and I'm over there with my body, and I'm going, I freaked out because he has me past my body over there somewhere where the kid went. And everything I could do not to drop to my knees and freak out on the floor. And the kid just looks back at me and goes, kind of like, oh, I thought you were ready to step out of yourself. Hell no! I'm not ready for Bud yet. Not like this, not right. You pulled me out of my body. I didn't say this, but I thought I was a body standing in here. You pulled me out of my body. You pulled me out of myself. How can you do that? You know, freaked out. And he just let me go and kind of like went, okay. And then just walked away. His dad came over to me and went, oh my God, I'm sorry. I've never seen him do that before. So was this Shiva that appeared, the goddess, the god Shiva, who appeared in this child's body and just went, oh, you think you're a smart ass, huh? How about this? It drug me out. Thank you, Shiva. Everything is a stumbling block or a stepping stone. And for somebody that spent more hours in deep meditation than probably anybody in this room, thank you, Shiva. So, things like that can happen. I'm not going to call that a near-death experience, but it was a near-death of Bud experience. Okay? A near-death of what I think I am. A near-death, all my ego almost died that day. Oh my God, what a terrible thing to happen.
So did you get a helmet for Christmas?
You know?
You needed his address so you could.
Well,
Spend more
I'm
time
gonna
with
go, you know, something like that comes when it comes. So, what you're looking for is looking for you. This is another Rumi quote. What you're seeking is seeking you. So whatever we're seeking, if we're seeking awareness, if we're seeking love, don't go out there and look for solution. It's in here, folks. The only thing that's keeping you from having what you're looking for is the barriers that you have, the barriers that I have concocted for myself to keep myself separated from that which I think I'm separated from. This is the first fetter again. This is this inside out stuff where I think I'm separate from. I think I'm separate from love. What I need to do is to go, oh, no, it's not out there. It's not Georgia or, Ruth or whatever, gold or Jesus or whatever I think love is. It's in here, bud. It's what have I made a barrier between me and what I think I don't have? What have I made a barrier inside? Rumi says, just remove the barriers that you have brought up. That's the inward work. That's why all of our answers are this way, not out there. They're in here. Again, the first fetter. We're inverted. We're inside out. We think that is not in here. We think that is the world. And what it is it's our thinking curtain of reality. And believe me, when the curtain starts disappearing, the thinking mechanism that has created that curtain of separation gets freaked out and goes, no, you can't go there. So we can die into presence. We can die in the egoic sense, in the belief sense, in the separation sense. That can die. In your presence, although it's already here, it's always been here, it's never hidden from you, your presence will start to appear more in the moment. These moments are always here. They're here every moment of every day of our lives, all the time. And only by distracting ourselves out of the moments or freaking out like I did for the moment, even though I'm asking for it on one hand and refusing it on the other, that this is kind of the way it goes. Your moment is every moment, all the time, can be. Get yourself inside in, not inside out. But who's got to do the work? In. The work has to be done inwardly, not outwardly. Okay, that was diving into presence. When presence starts showing up, things get very direct and very simple. To try and overlay a step procedure or define this stuff is how we stay out of it. The mind keeps us out of it with explanations, definitions, rightnesses, and wrongnesses. All that stuff. All of our thinking is, now we're going to defend it. We've got to defend thinking. All of our thinking is way down the chain on what's going on here. The body gets it first. The body has a reaction to it. It becomes at an emotional level. Then after the mind realizes that there's something going on, it comes up with an explanation. I know what this means. You don't want to go there. So our habitual way of dealing with something that comes up is to go avoid it. Go the other way. Find a reason to leave. All of that. That's the stuff to go through. Don't go in. Find excuses for not going in. Don't be in the moment. I got to take care of stuff tomorrow. On and on and on. That's it. You are it. And you will not serve yourself up anything more than you can have at any time. There is a grace in your perfection as a being in this time, in this body, that you will give yourself what is needed, when it was needed, at the level it's needed, and it isn't somebody else you need to follow. You need to follow yourself, not my ideas, not another idea. Fall into yourself in the moment. And you are it. Feel it. Feel yourself. You're beautiful. Even your bullshit's beautiful. In my case. Because you're serving yourself up exactly what you need when you need it. Richard, can we have a tone, please? I remember being in big groups. A child would cry, and the group would stop and the child would go, stop fussing immediately. Maybe you could do that with yourself. All you need is what? Love. Where should you direct that? As you shine outward, it will appear thusly. What you're seeking is also seeking you. Love yourself first. It'll all come from that. Remember, if you ask a question, it's the beginning of a quest. As you ask your questions, the universe sends you the information from your quest. You can make them 30 years long, you can make them whatever. This is one of the tricks of I think, therefore I am. Ask your question beautifully, because the answers will come. Are there any questions?
Question.